You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hello, and welcome to episode 236 of the Rusted Robot Podcast for March 3rd, 2019.
X-Ray Delta 1, this is Mission Control. Roger, you're 1930.
Just what do you think you're doing, Dave?
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All right, I'll take a shot at it. What the hell, it works on Star Trek.
There's a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace in Sector 4.
Ship, abandon ship. All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close that surface.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
I am the law.
Put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And now we take a quantum leap forward.
Hey, it's your host, Sean.
I'm Josh.
And Kitty.
And we're all here to entertain the heck out of you guys. How's it going? That's always your response,
What?
though.
Why? Why?
Because I had 2 computers break in a week.
Oh, okay. My day's good. It started good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, the day's good. The week is terrible.
Oh, that's
I
too
woke
bad.
up okay, somewhat rested.
And here you are. You're podcasting again.
I'm not dying or sick anymore.
No, you look healthy.
Yeah.
Your eyes are bright and clear.
Hmm.
Oh, very
Like a
nice.
squirrel.
Yeah.
That must be killed.
I don't know what that means, but okay. I'm okay too. Thanks for asking. Everything's good around here.
Sorry. We didn't ask.
You guys never ask.
No.
It's like you don't care.
I ask you when you get here.
Oh, that's true. But you don't ask me on the show. So our listeners think, what's wrong with Josh? He doesn't care how Sean feels.
I don't. I just use you.
That's his
know.
persona, remember?
I remember. It's the way he masks his caring by
Not.
not. Yes. I guess that's the best way to put it. Went to the Vagina Monologues last night.
Oh? And how was that?
You know what? It was...
Was it funny? Was it gross?
It wasn't gross,
Oh, good.
because there was no actual vaginas on stage.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of ladies reciting lines from the play.
Okay.
And went with a couple friends, and there was like 6 of us guys there. And learned a lot, said it was interesting, and I would definitely recommend it.
Did they yell at you?
No,
Okay.
there's no yelling. It's basically women on stage reenacting the words from people who had been interviewed and then put
okay.
into this play kind of thing.
That's fine
It
then.
was like a 2-hour performance. I'm trying to expand my cultural awareness. This is not a normal thing I would go to, but Karen the
it's good to
Klingon
attend things.
was in there, and so I wanted to see her perform. So me and Pierre went. He's another one of the Klingons, and a couple of my friends, Heather and Tracy, came with me. It was a good time.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Only slightly uncomfortable, so...
Theater is always good.
Yep, so that's what I did this week. We got some feedback, Josh.
What?
From our last episode, last week, the one with Stephanie.
Okay.
Let me just pull it up here. It's quite interesting. On Twitter, we got 2.
Oh, cool.
So you remember Mike, or known as @Jarek? He always
Yes.
posts about this week I listened to so-and-so podcast, and he always shouts us out. So here's a big shout out to Mike. And he wrote to us on Twitter, and he said, @TheRustedRobot, got to say I would be mighty interested in a series or one-off with your good selves, along with Stephanie doing a commentary on an MCU movie.
Okay.
Because you and Stephanie got into a little bit of a heated discussion last week.
Not heated at all.
No,
A
but
perfectly rational discussion.
intense.
Intense,
Not,
yes,
not,
but...
not heated as in angry, heated as in it was going to really go somewhere if I didn't redirect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then our good friend Daniel Peter Hitch.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Daniel Peter Hitch, author of the Connected Worlds Chronicles and the Bubbles the Pirate children's book series. You're listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
He said, let's see, always thankful for another shout out. And he says, look forward to seeing what Stephanie learns and produces from this. I understand her fatigue with Marvel movies, not share, but understand.
Yeah, but she hasn't watched them, so she can't... You can't fatigue. It's like watching somebody run a marathon going, oh, I'm tired of this.
Right.
Like, there's
Some
no...
people do that, though.
You gotta participate if you want to get fatigued.
Yeah.
Not some people. Some people, the thought of participation makes them tired and they have to go lie down.
So last week you weren't here, so
Yes.
you didn't get to meet Stephanie.
True.
I don't know where you were.
Work.
Oh, where do you work?
Jump City.
Oh, the comic book shop.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we never got to go there either. I apparently have a comic book in my file. You tweeted me.
You do have a comic book in your file.
But, so you didn't get to meet Stephanie. Josh got to meet her and had a lot of fun doing last week's podcast. She spent the weekend at my house, and we recorded 4 episodes for the Soul Forge podcast.
Wow.
Which will be coming out over the next few months. Episode 90, just released the other day, is the first one with her. We talk about our history and how long we've known each other and whatnot. And she loves podcasting, and she's already got ideas for 3 podcasts of her own.
Holy moly.
So...
That's a lot of podcasts.
That's a lot of podcasts. I said, maybe start with one and see if you like it first.
Because of the editing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing, a lot of...
the talking part is fun.
The talking part's fun, but it takes a while to get into it. You know that. You know that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's the result of our visit. Hadn't really seen her really much for about 18 years, and it was just like old times. Very nice. So look forward to 4 episodes of Stephanie and Sean on Soul Forge over the next few months. Cool. SoulForgePodcast.com.
Is that what it's at?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's on iTunes and Stitcher.
Oh.
And TuneIn.
Oh.
And everywhere you want to be.
Is that a thing or just something you added in at the end?
Everywhere you want to be?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Sounds good.
Oh, okay. But it's not an address, because it could be.
Oh, everywhere you want to be.
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Actually, that could be like a travel podcast.
.gov?
.org. .net.
.gov/edu.
I don't know. Anyways.
.porn?
No. Definitely not. We are the family-friendly podcast.
Hi, this is Cena Grace, the artist of The Little Depressed Boy, and you are listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast, which, by the way, you should be supporting on all social media and iTunes.
Now that we've gotten our shameless plugs for Jump City Comic Books and the Soul Forge podcast out of the way, it's time to get into the podcast proper.
Okay.
And what do we normally start with, Josh?
We try to start with something happy and light, but you always go for your celebrity death of the week.
Celebrity death of the week, yes. It's a sad one this week, folks. We lost Golden Globe winning actress Katherine Hellman, a frequent scene stealer on shows such as Who's the Boss and Soap. She was 89. You remember her? Probably you don't recognize the name, right?
From Who's the Boss?
Yeah, she was Grandma Mona.
I used to watch that show.
Me too. That was one of the shows that you could really relate to as a kid. Well, I could, because they were a split family. And everything else was happy family, like Growing Pains and Family Ties and all that kind of stuff. But this was 2 broken homes coming together. So I could relate to that as a kid. But anyway, her husband said, "She was the love of my life. We spent 57 beautiful, wonderful, loving years together, which I will treasure forever. I've been with Catherine since I was 19 years old. The night she died, I saw that the moon was exactly half full, just as I am now, half of what I've been my entire adult life." Hellman died Saturday of complications from Alzheimer's in her Los Angeles residence. And during her 5-decade career, Hellman was nominated for multi-Emmy Awards and won 2 Golden Globes for 2 roles for which she was best known. On Soap, which ran for 4 seasons from 1977 to 81, she played lovable, naive Jessica Tate, a role that earned her a Globe in 1981. On Who's the Boss, Hellman played the feisty mother to Judith Light's Angela, Mona Robinson. Hellman won a Golden Globe in 1989 for the role. There's an article on the Facebook page, and you can read all about all the different outpouring of love and support from her past co-stars.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was a very nice tribute that she got from all the different people. Very sad news. I watched that show incessantly when I was a kid, as you probably did. And Josh?
I watched it occasionally.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Oh, man.
I didn't watch many shows that had like live action when it was out. I was really little.
Right, that's true. You're 10 years younger than I am. I
Yeah.
keep forgetting about that. So that's sad news. But I do have some interesting space news.
Space news?
Space?
Yeah, I got to transition to something a little bit more out there. You know, like you said, bring the podcast down and then bring it right back up. And what's higher than space? Nothing.
Well, that can be argued because in space there is no down, so you can't be up.
In space, no one can hear you scream either. So this article comes to us from Timmins Today, our local newspaper. Canadian astronauts will be going to the moon in 2022. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced that Canada will be going to the moon as a partner in a NASA-led project. NASA is embarking on the creation of its new Lunar Gateway, a space station it plans to send into orbit around the moon starting in 2022. The plan calls for a substantial lunar architecture that would allow people and equipment to go back and forth to the moon regularly. It's also described as a first step toward deeper space exploration, including a mission to Mars. Trudeau said at the Canadian Space Agency that the partnership in the Lunar Gateway will be part of a new space strategy that will see the federal government invest $2 billion over the next 24 years. He said the investment will create hundreds of well-paying jobs and contribute $100 million annually to Canada's gross domestic product.
That does not sound like a lot of money.
That's what I was thinking, and that's why I brought this article
How
up.
much? How many years?
$2.05 billion over 24 years. That's almost nothing. That's like less than $1 million. Oh no, wait. Calculate that for me. It's billion, so that's 10 billion per 12 year, or 1 billion per 12 years. My math is horrible today.
2.5 billion?
No, 2.05 billion.
2.05 billion.
Yeah.
So that's thousands, that's millions, that's billions divided by 24. That is $85 million a year.
Okay.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. That's what
the government spends more on coffee.
Do you have their coffee budget?
I assume.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons isn't that cheap.
That's true. You're right. You're right about that.
And they are Canadian, so that is what they would drink.
Quite. So we're going to the moon, guys.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Canada is participating in space agencies, but we're piggybacking.
That's what we do.
We should go.
We don't have any kind of
We should be there by 2021. We got to beat the Americans back.
I like that idea.
Claim it. Burn down their flag like we did their White House. We'd have to add in oxygen. And the moon is ours. Long live Britannia.
No, we're Canada now.
Yeah, but we're still part of the Commonwealth. The Britannia Commonwealth.
Well, yeah.
Her Majesty must have the moon. We must deliver.
Okay.
That seems a bit harsh, but
we need to claim the moon
for ourselves.
That's right.
And
before Elizabeth passes, we'll rename it in her name.
How about we just call it Canada too? Canada in space. Space Canada.
And when the Americans come, we can use our giant robot arms to smash them.
That's right.
We should build giant robot arms for the moon. It'll give it a personality. Yeah, we can make it put its hands on its metaphorical hips. We should also put giant eyes on the moon. I understand that if you feel like you're being watched, you're less likely to do anything that you shouldn't be doing. So if we put giant eyes on the moon that are always facing the Earth,
that's not a bad suggestion.
The crime rate will go down.
The outdoor crime rate will do it.
Yes, the outdoor crime rate. Or any place with large open windows.
Because the man in the moon is watching.
Yes.
As he does.
Yes. Although, according to Josh, it would now be Elizabeth the Moon.
Right.
Liz the Moon.
We'd have to build a giant crown structure on top.
Oh, I like so much of this idea. At first I was like, that's ridiculous, you're being insane. But now that it's been more insane, now I like it.
Ridiculous ideas here on Rusted Robot?
Yeah, no.
Not
ridiculous.
at all. Not at all.
I kind of want this to be a thing now, though, guys. And the giant crown structure on top, if we built like a bubble dome, to make it look like a really fancy crown, people could live in there.
Yeah, it would be the Lunar City.
The Lunar
Elizabeth
City
too.
Inside the crown structure.
Bubble dome.
They'd have to call it Corona. It means crown.
Or regalia.
Yeah, regalia is cool, but I like Corona.
Put a lime in it. Or is that lemon? I don't know. I don't drink beer. But
but it means crown. That's where they get that. That's why they flip their little beer cap upside down.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. I get it. And speaking of Corona and bubble domes, I started watching I guess a documentary on Netflix last night. I didn't get to finish it, but it was called Behind the Curve or Beyond the Curve, all about the Flat Earth Society. These people are ridiculous.
But not in a fun way.
No, they're kind of ridiculously fun.
Yeah, but also kind of sad.
The original Flat Earth Society was people that just liked to argue. The whole point was to argue their side in such a way that an obvious fact is denied and the other people can't win because the people love to argue. But they actually convinced people, and now people believe it.
That's what they were saying on the documentary that I got about 2/3 of the way through. There's this, the guy, one of the main guys in the movement is Mark Sargent, and another lady is Patricia Steer, and they're trying to develop some kind of romantic relationship. And he first just got into it to disprove the thing, and he's like, after 9 months of researching it, he was convinced that, okay, maybe the Earth is flat. And he's got all these YouTube videos and podcasts that they do, and I didn't get to finish it because I went to the vagina monologues. but ridiculous.
I don't know how I feel about this.
And he was saying, he was being interviewed and he asked, are there any like scientists or physicists who believe in the Flat Earth Society and that the Earth is flat? And he's like, well, no, because once you get to a certain level of education, you're controlled by
logic,
by somebody, I guess, and then you can't say
you can't believe in the Earth being
right, because then you're funding, and because you got a master's. That
also
means
just like after you're educated, you just know
so
it can't be a thing.
But he's got circular logic that.
Circular? He's got circular logic?
Yeah,
that the Earth is flat?
Oh, you like that?
So, the big thing is, okay, if it's circular,
yeah.
One, where's the center? Now, they often point, because in the northern hemisphere, because that's where most flat earthers live, since the world seems to rotate around the North Pole, that's the center of the Earth, is the North Pole. Then you go, okay, well, what about the South Pole?
Well, what they've done is they've made a bunch of models, flat, with the Earth map laid out, and all around the center is the
ice wall.
Yes, the 200-foot tall
it's
ice
like,
wall.
Okay, why don't you just go there? Right? Mm-hmm. The easiest of it is just go there. They say, the UN has boats patrolling the waters so nobody can reach the ice wall. Now, here's the thing. If you take their mapping as true, if we give them, okay, this is your thing, and you have to be able to see from boat to boat to be able to patrol so nobody can slip through, okay, that would mean you would have to have over 500,000 ships able to survive the southern seas, which are very rough.
They are.
Crewed by probably 20 people per boat. Because you need to have a constant crew on watch?
Yeah. Well, what they were doing is he was describing it as kind of like the Truman Show, but instead of a studio that's 20 miles across, it's thousands of miles across. And we're all in a great big dome, and the constellations we see is like a reflection or like a hologram or something. And none of the stuff that actually is real in real life is just all fake, and it's all put up there by some kind of an elite. The church. I think the Vatican is what responsible. I think that's what he had said. But it was so ridiculous. I'm like, I could see how somebody could fall for this, because the way they talk, they're so convincing.
Yeah, but all of their arguments are ad hoc. Because the moment you say, well, that doesn't really work out if you do the basic math of trigonometry, like a direct flight from Sydney to somewhere in southern Africa, right? You go over water.
Yeah.
But if you take their projected map, that would require them to go across much of Asia. Now, since you don't ever go overland, where did they go? Also, it increases the distance between those 2 points from 16,000 kilometers to about 26,000 kilometers. So, how does that work out? And then, what's the sun? Because now that you have to explain the sun going over the horizon. They say, well, it's a light source above the Earth, a few hundred kilometers spinning around
That's exactly what they had on their little model.
But here's the thing. You put a ball of light, and it goes over that way. I can still see it. It's just small and far away, not over the horizon. They
and
go,
there would never be a nighttime.
Exactly. I know. I was
like, but perspective. I'm like, okay, perspective doesn't explain this, because according to your thing, the world is flat, and I should be looking up at it, even if it's low on the horizon. At no point should it ever go over the horizon. It's the brightest goddamn thing in the sky. Slash brightest goddamn thing around that isn't, artificially created. So I should be able to see it from hundreds of kilometers away.
Yeah.
Also, using perspective, people who live in specific countries would only ever see the sun low in the sky.
Well, it goes around like a clock.
Yeah, but then you would never have noon.
No, but anyway, these people are ridiculous, and there are hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube, and I could have...
Thousands.
Yes.
And actually, YouTube's cracking down on them.
Oh, good.
I could see that they're just really, they're just afraid.
For the world is hollow, and I have touched the sky.
But the only thing that flat earthers have to fear
is fear itself.
Is fear itself.
Yes. Very good. Anyway... I would suggest checking it out on Netflix. It's Behind the Curve or Beyond the Curve, something like that.
But don't believe it, though, because then we'll mock you.
It's ridiculous. And speaking of Netflix, have you guys seen the Dragon Prince cartoon?
We have seen all of the first season, but we haven't started the second one yet because we were waiting to watch it with our children.
Oh, I just finished it last night. It's so amazing. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I do got to talk about one specific thing. Very progressive of Netflix. There's a scene where a guy's talking about the history of a certain country and how it was run by two queens. And the two queens were in a lesbian love relationship, so they were both queens. They were an interracial couple, and they kissed on screen.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm like, holy crap, that would have never flown when I was a kid, but this is good for the children to see.
Netflix does a good job.
It's so progressive. Of course, they killed them off.
They killed them!
They killed them off, so it's bury your gays. That's apparently the trope. If you have significant gay people on screen, you have to kill them.
Well, not always, but
Not
at least
always.
they're not portrayed as evil anymore.
No, they were-
Before
they
in
were-
cartoons, the only people who were ever given off...
It was a heroic sacrifice on their part.
Well, that's cool.
So it was just very interesting that they were an interracial lesbian couple who kissed on screen, which was amazing.
That never would have happened in a cartoon
No.
forever ago.
No.
A lot of problem with these trope. They go, oh, it's bury your gays trope, or the woman in the fridge trope. Do you know that one?
I've never heard that one.
It's to motivate the male character, you kill off his wife, girlfriend, whatever. It's based on a comic where somebody was put in a fridge.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Hawkeye. I'm not sure, or the original. But, yeah. So, but a lot of these things are just storytelling conventions. Like, you see the same thing the other way around.
Of course.
You know, you murdered my husband, you murdered my son, you murdered my boyfriend, I get revenge. It's not considered, oh, that's a bad trope. No, because it's how you motivate people.
Mm-hmm.
You can have women in the fridge with a woman character.
I guess, yeah, but like...
So...
It's more common in video games, for example, though.
But
You're always a male character, and you're always saving
Right.
a sister, a girlfriend, a queen, a princess.
That's
just how it works.
It's
out.
just story convention because you need an instant motivator.
I know, but it's just that all of the time you're a male character saving a female character.
Right. But it was just nice to see this on a kid's cartoon, and it wasn't remarked upon in any way. It wasn't.
That's the way
special.
it should be. It should just be.
It was awesome. I was like, we're so progressive now.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, people are talking about the trope of it already.
Yeah, I heard about
it's
that.
It's like, well, why not
People
just...
are always going to talk about the trope of everything.
It's like, why not just accept the story?
But it was a heroic sacrifice on their part
to
save 100,000 people, basically.
That's pretty cool. So like, they're also heroes.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely recommend you guys check out season 2.
We are going to.
Yeah.
We just
got to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome show. Let's talk about some trailers. What do you think?
Sure, we'll talk about some trailers.
Okay. Let's talk about Critters first because it's the first one that comes out. The TV series Critters, the new Binge, comes out to Shudder, which I don't know what that is, on March 21st.
So
we can't play the trailer because it's all just basically
It's just sounds, but you guys need to watch it. It is so perfect. It's so perfect.
Tell us about it.
All of the... Okay. You guys have seen original Critters?
Of course, yep.
Okay. So, like, the best things about that movie had, like, the little bit of comedy, the gore that was still somehow frightening, even though they were clearly hand puppets.
And they look the same now.
They look the same! Like, they still look very much like hand puppets. They're somehow puppeted, like, a little better, because I guess maybe the materials are better than they were before. But, like, it still has the gore. The gore is actually better than it used to be, but it's still, like, made by a hand puppet creature. And, like, the special effects look amazing.
But it also looks cheap.
It looks both really real and like a regular sci-fi thing that you would watch on TV. Like, I can't think of any examples just now for something that has really good sci-fi effects.
Okay, anyways.
Like Farscape? Andromeda?
No, I mean something that has like really good like CG where you just expect it to be part of the thing.
Okay. Like anything modern.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it has these hand puppet creatures, which are really well done.
Yeah, and what I mean by cheap is it looks like the original.
Yes.
And this is an obviously stylistic choice to make it look...
For sure.
And it looks fantastic.
And their voices, they're the same. They have the same weird little gritty, almost like a choking, coughing, raspy voice.
So what is Shudder? Is it like an app?
I assume that it is some type of viewing platform. I
Because
don't
it's
know. 'cause I
not coming to
haven't seen
regular
it.
TV. It's coming
not.
to Shudder. So
But
unless it does come to regular TV, because you never know. But it's being presented by whatever Shudder is. Some
I'm
kind of
extremely
horror.
eager to see this. It's gonna be good.
It's only 3 weeks away. The next trailer, we can actually play it. It's the Red Band trailer, so there's some swears in it, some bad words, Josh. But that's okay, because we were telling our people in advance, Hellboy, Red Band trailer, coming out April 12th.
On an island off the coast of Scotland, something was summoned from the depths of hell. Something that would end mankind.
And this thing you worried about, did it show up?
Oh, yes. You did.
We face every threat there is, and yet you take me in. Hello, son. Made me a goddamn weapon.
Where's my fucking violin?
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Out there's a 5th century sorceress who wants to bring down the curtain on London and the world.
Great. Homework.
Why do you fight for those who hate and fear you? You were meant for this. Out of the ashes, new Eden will emerge.
Okay, I'd appreciate a prophecy with more relatable stakes.
Haven't we got to be saving the world or something?
Yeah, okay, come on. Let's get your game face on. Yeah, come on, let's do this.
Be my king. We belong together, you and I.
We do, but this is not gonna work, you know, because I'm a Capricorn and you're fucking nuts!
What do you think?
I think it looks good, but nothing in that trailer was a ooh. It was just, yeah, okay. It looks good.
It looked fairly decent.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that all of the ooh moments will actually be in the movie.
That would be good.
I have a hard time. It looks good.
There's humor.
It looks like they're doing a good job. I have a hard time not wanting to see Ron Perlman.
Because Ron Perlman is Hellboy.
He looks like him. He
Yeah.
looks like him almost like without the makeup. Like, he has a good face. And a good voice. It'll be weird to see somebody else being Hellboy.
David Harbour.
Like, I'm sure he'll do a good job. But you know how some people just really fit the role really well?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Plus, I like the weird, what was it, Del Toro who did the other ones?
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, I really liked his like, style for, like, creepy things. He made the other world, like, similar enough to our world, but strange enough that it was obviously different and separate.
Mm-hmm. Like a
Like
slightly alternate universe.
Yeah, like when he did Pan's Labyrinth, like we had, there was like
right.
a regular world, and then the fairy world was clearly different, but it was still similar enough.
Yes.
It seemed like it could be real, but it was clearly like a different, weirder, like somehow shinier world.
So is Hellboy a theater go? Is it wait for Netflix? Is it illegally downloading kind of a thing?
It depends on what's out at the same time. It's a matinee go right now.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Not a full price admission,
Not a full price.
but a cheapy Tuesday.
But I'd like to see it on theater.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Captain Marvel comes out this week.
That's a theater go.
Yeah.
Definitely a theater go, for sure.
They do a good job with their movies.
Yeah?
I like Marvel.
Yes. And we got another trailer for a Marvel adjacent film. Coming out June 7th is X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Why did you make me do that?
Look at me. Focus on my voice. I'm not giving up on you, Jean.
She was my friend.
You're my family, Jean. Stop. No matter what.
Stop.
Look. You're special, Jean. And if you stop fighting that force inside you, if you embrace it, you will possess the very power of a god.
She'll kill us all.
Tell me how we fix this, Charles. Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do.
What they don't understand, they fear, and what they fear, we seek to destroy.
This is your fault, Charles. I tried to protect her.
I'm scared. When I lose control, bad things happen to people I love.
The girl dies. She's still Jean. We can still help her.
Sometimes you want to believe people are something that they are not. By the time you realize who they are,
Jean!
it's too late.
She's coming.
So they're just calling it Dark Phoenix. They're not putting the X-Men moniker in front of it.
I actually
pass.
think it looks good. I kind of want to see it.
Well, we just watched the trailer before we started recording, and I was like, you know what? I've seen every X-Men film in the theater. I'm going to go see this in the theater, but I'm not going to like it. It looks like crap.
Aww.
Yeah, it looks bad. I'm glad that this is going to be the last movie.
I actually don't think it looks that bad. When I go to see an X-Men movie, I'm mostly in it for, like, the action, the costumes, the CGI. The story's okay, but, like, I just like watching people get thrown across the room and dying, or being injured, or explosions.
And it's got all the actors that we love.
There's Sansa in it now, from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or Phoenix, or Jean Grey.
Jean.
So, I don't like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique.
No, she seems to be doing a horrible job in this episode as opposed to the other three.
Her character's been getting progressively worse.
Yes.
Her makeup's been getting progressively worse.
It looked really crappy, didn't it?
The first one was okay. Like, the first time she was there.
No, unless this trailer is not finished, but it didn't look good.
No, she did not look good.
Oh, no, I mean, like, the first movie.
And her voice was all wrong, and I don't know, there's something wrong with this.
And I'm tired of them, let's put Mystique as the front character. Mystique is not an X-Man.
Just because she's super popular? Yeah, she's one of the, she's not part of the Brotherhood.
She's Brotherhood adjacent.
Yeah. She's very much like her own dealie.
Is she like a rogue character?
Ha 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 ha! She's really loyal to Magneto, but he sometimes doesn't treat her very great.
But yeah, I just don't. I'm tired of it. I want it to end, let it die for a few years, and then Marvel can come in and fix it.
Oh, I'd love to see a Marvel X-Men.
Yeah.
Did you hear all the rumors about who's going to take over for Wolverine?
No.
They had, I think they had Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, that would be fun.
But that was just
He's not jacked enough.
No, that was just a joke.
Harry Potter got to hit the gym.
He could though, like.
There was a bunch of.
He plays a
people.
lot of really good. Have you seen Horns?
No.
He's pretty good at playing like dark and broody people.
Oh, I enjoy it.
He could bulk up.
Pattinson.
You guys
the guy
have
from
seen
Twilight. There, he was another one who's rumored for the role.
Yeah.
You guys have seen Paul Rudd in previous things.
Yeah.
Like Marvel makes people buff. If they're like, oh well, we want you to be Wolverine. If he's
Oh yeah, you'd have to hit the Marvel gym
But
program.
like if Marvel's taking over X-Men and they're like, you know what, we want him to whoever they pick,
Do you
he's
know
gonna get jacked.
the best person for him, but unfortunately he's already in a Marvel MCU character.
Who?
John Barrowman, the Punisher.
John Bernthal.
Barenthal, sorry.
John Barrowman is
Captain Jack Harkness.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah. So
Ooh,
yeah.
I would love to. He would make a terrible Wolverine. He's much too handsome.
No, but the Punisher, dude. Barrowman. Barenthal. I don't know why I keep switching those names in my head.
John Bernthal.
Whatever.
Shane from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yes, that guy.
Well, I don't want him to be Wolverine. Wolverine's no. I don't want that.
I hope there's a Hugh Jackman cameo that they get in here. There won't be because he's
I
already
love Hugh
said
Jackman
no.
so much.
But you gotta have Hugh.
Like he's also handsome, but he's like ruggedly handsome. Whereas
That's a handsome, handsome man.
Barrowman is like pretty handsome.
Anyway, talking about handsome, handsome guys. Moving right along, you once again picked out this week's promo for another podcast.
I did.
Here on the ESO Network.
And I listened to it last night.
And how was it?
It was interesting.
Because?
They talk about movies that you all enjoyed as a child, and then they try to either defend or tear it apart.
So let's play the trailer right here.
This week on Myopia Defend Your Childhood. Myopia Defend Your Childhood is so named because I believe we are short-sighted on the things we watched as kids. So every week we watch a movie that one of the panelists grew up watching and see if they hold up, from comedy to cartoons or to action. And for this season, the last Thursday of each month, we're doing a TV show in our Myopia Mornings segments. We watch Saturday morning cartoons and afternoon classics. So find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. How will you stand when we put your past on trial? Myopia Defend Your Childhood is a member of the ESO Network and produced by Dude Letter Podcasting.
That's the Myopia Defend Your Childhood promo.
Yeah.
And so they defend the childhood movies that we loved, or
which ones do they have? Because they don't have all 200 and something episodes up on the iTunes app.
Oh no?
No. So the one that I listened to last night was the Alice in Wonderland, not the classic cartoon, but the 1999 made-for-TV movie.
Ah.
That one was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Available episodes, I think they only got like 12 or so. Yeah, they don't got very many available, so you got to listen to it as it comes out.
Okay.
But it's good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
That one might get stuck into my permanent rotation.
Are they long episodes, short episodes?
About an hour.
Okay. So similar to us.
Yeah. I highly recommend it, actually. It's very enjoyable, particularly if you like analysis shows.
They break it down.
Yeah.
Hammer time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I know a lot of people like tearing apart individual episodes of shows.
Yeah.
Like, some people will spend like 2 hours tearing apart a half-hour show.
Yes, I've listened to podcasts like that.
I've listened to somebody tear apart things that I love. I listen to that a lot.
Are you directing your eyes at us? Or Josh, I guess?
Mostly at Josh.
Okay. All right.
I love you, but you poke holes in things I love.
Oh. Josh is a hole poker.
No, let's not say that on the podcast, please.
Okay, well, let's move right along then. You guys like Star Trek?
I do like Star Trek.
Do you like Lieutenant Commander Geordi LaForge?
Yes, I do.
I do. I also like reading.
You do?
Yeah.
Did you know?
Like the Reading Rainbow.
Did you know the guy who was on Reading Rainbow was the same guy who played LaForge?
He was. You don't say.
I do say. His name is actually LeVar Burton. He's a celebrated American actor, director, producer, and writer for more than 40 years, and he's adding another accolade. This one for his tireless, decades-long dedication to children's literacy and AIDS research and treatment. This fall, the Inamori International Center for Ethics and Excellence at Case Western Reserve University will award the 2019 Inamon Ethics Prize to Burton for his outstanding global ethical leadership as an advocate for such important and worthy causes. I couldn't have been more surprised by the news, Burton said. This is a very prestigious honor, and as the first recipient from the field of the arts, I look forward to being able to accept the prize and thank the committee in person. Burton will be awarded the prize and deliver a free public lecture about his work as part of an academic symposium and panel discussion during Inamon Center events September September 19th and 20th on the Case Western Reserve campus in Cleveland. So that's exciting news.
He deserves many nice things. I'm glad he's getting an award.
Yes, yes. Burton is best known for hosting Reading Rainbow, a children's program launched in 1983 on PBS to foster and inspire a love of reading, and for his roles in Star Trek The Next Generation and the 1977 award-winning ABC television miniseries Roots. Reading Rainbow ran for 23 seasons, making it one of the longest-running children's programs on PBS. The program received a Peabody Award and 25 Emmy Awards, 11 of which were Outstanding Children's Series. Burton himself won 12 Emmy Awards for the show. So that's very good.
Yeah.
I like it when a Star Trek actor gets recognized, even for not Star Trek work.
Admittedly, like, his other work is kind of more important.
Well...
No, it's more important. Advocating children's literacy is more important than Star Trek.
What?
See, here's the thing. You get them reading, then you hand them Star Trek books.
Oh, and then they're like, oh, this looks really good. I bet they would make a good mind movie. So, oh, wait, there's a TV series. Oh, geez, there's 7 of them. Holy crap, there's more. There's cartoons.
You backtrack.
There's movies.
That's how you trap them.
Yes.
Like, even as much as I love Star Trek, and as much as it appeals to, like, most of the planet for its inclusion and diversity and...
That's old Star Trek, but go on.
Yeah. But, like, I could see... Like, not everybody's going to love the same thing. Some people just don't like sci-fi. I don't fully understand why.
People don't like sci-fi?
But I don't need to understand it. I just need to accept it. But reading needs to appeal to everybody.
Yes.
Even those who don't get sci-fi.
Okay.
They need to be able to read.
And we've got some Star Trek news, but before we get there, I've got news that says Lionsgate has revealed the official release date for Rambo Last Blood, which will be set to serve as Sylvester Stallone's swan song as John Rambo, the hardened Italian and Navajo-born Vietnam veteran. The release starring Stallone and Paz Vega, among others, is now posed to fill theater floors with blood on September 20th, 2019. And here's the log line for the thing. When the daughter of one of his friends is kidnapped, Rambo, who has been working on a ranch, crosses the U.S.-Mexico border and quickly finds himself up against the full might of one of Mexico's most violent cartels. Set to push Rambo to the limit for his last journey into the breach is Isabel and Resident Evil Afterlife actor Sergio Pens Manchetta as the villain Hugo Martinez. Meanwhile, Yvette Monreal also stars as Gabrielle, a teenager who works on Rambo's family farm and is kidnapped by Martinez's cartel. So that's exciting.
So if this is his last movie, and it's called Last Blood.
Yeah.
Is it going to have Stallone?
Yeah, it's Stallone. This is his last go with Rambo. They did something wrong.
What do you mean?
He should have went back to the town.
The town?
The town from First Blood.
Right, with the Brian Dennehy character, and where he couldn't have a meal and he couldn't stop in. Ooh.
You're just like, keep moving.
They could have bookended it.
They should have bookended it. He could have went there, and
done all the stuff but there.
And they want vengeance because you crippled my dad, because you put spikes in his legs.
Right.
It's kind of their own fault, though. Like,
it was.
Yeah.
And then the sheriff can be there, the original sheriff, but he's retired now, and he's like, don't do it. Just leave him alone.
I've seen this before.
But no, they're going with the drug cartel. It doesn't bookend the series at all. It doesn't add to the thing.
Well, the first one's only really the good one, so...
First one's a good one. Third one's not bad.
You know, I haven't seen them in so many years. I think we need to do a marathon of Rambo films.
So it's First Blood 2, and then Rambo 3.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So...
Oh, because it was First Blood, and then it was Rambo 2 First Blood. Or First Blood 2, or something ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah, they had a weird naming convention because they realized that most people call it Rambo.
Yeah.
Instead of calling it First Blood. They could have done a whole series of First Blood.
Yeah.
Focusing on different characters each time.
Mm-hmm, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
They dropped the ball on that one, Josh. Hey, did you know that...
It's Hollywood. They can't hold on to a ball before it's crap.
They're not good jugglers. A sequel to the Tom Cruise starring Edge of Tomorrow is finally moving forward with Warner Brothers, tapping Matthew Robinson to write the script. Deadline reports that the sequel aims to bring back Cruise and co-star Emily Blunt, as well as recruit original director Doug Liman. In the original film, inspired by the Japanese light novel All You Need Is Kill, When Earth falls under attack from invincible aliens, no military unit in the world is able to beat them. Major William Cage, an officer who has never seen combat, is assigned to a suicide mission. Killed within moments, Cage finds himself thrown into a time loop in which he relives the same brutal fight and his death over and over again. However, Cage's fighting skills improve with each encore, bringing him and a comrade, Blunt, ever closer to defeating aliens. So that's the original.
Yeah, but they succeeded. They beat the aliens in the first one.
Yes, yes. And they talk here in the article about how the marketing was pretty well dropped because then they started calling it Live, Die, Repeat. And then they called it Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. Now they're looking forward to moving forward with the sequel.
I don't understand how they're going to do a prequel would make sense.
Yeah.
If you go with the Iron Maiden, I think that's what they called her, Emily Blunt's role, because she was the
original.
She had the power originally.
The time loop original, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go on that, cool. That would make sense. Give us a prequel, fantastic. Give a cameo of Cruise in the movie, because he was a PR guy before that in the Army. Have him on TV being the PR guy.
So,
cool. You can't do a sequel. Oh, you guys won. But not really. You killed the queen, but there's a mega queen.
Right.
Whose time loops the whole war back to the very beginning. It's like, no, you established your rules, follow your rules, don't try to push things.
So they're frantically working on the script, and Lyman said, it's one of those movies that we'll only go make if we love the script. It's not one of those things where the studio is pushing us to make it, and they don't really care if it's good or not. If the movie happens, it will be because Emily Blunt, Tom Cruise, and myself are passionate about making it, which is a great place to be. She doesn't need the movie, he doesn't need the movie, and I don't need it. We're going to make it if we really believe in it. We have story that the three of us love, so we're working hard on the script. It has the possibility of being my next film. So, no details. The script isn't done. If they love the script, they'll make the film. If not, they won't. Hard to say what that'll be about. They want it to come out. But the first one was fantastic.
I enjoyed the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do a sequel if you wrap things up.
Yeah, I know, Josh. I know. So let's talk about some Star Trek news.
Black alert. Black alert.
So you haven't been watching Star Trek Discovery?
Nope.
Which is horrible, because I miss talking about it with somebody who I can record a podcast with, and we can debate back and forth and blah, blah, blah. But in the last episode that came out, episode 7, we finally got to see Spock, and this week's episode, we're going to Telos 4. Remember Telos 4?
Vaguely.
The one from the Menagerie, the original series, with the aliens with the big heads. I saw some still publicity photos of it. They look pretty great.
Okay.
Don't know what's going to happen, but this takes place 3 years after the events of The Cage, so I don't know what's going to happen. It's exciting, and there's all kinds of stuff happening with Saru, and he lost his ganglia, and he's lost his fear response, and that people are evolving on his planet, and you're missing so many good things, Josh. So many good things. You should feel shame.
No, I feel no shame.
No shame.
I prefer to watch good Star Trek.
It is good Star Trek. It's so good.
I haven't seen it yet.
You need to.
And I'm unsure if I would enjoy it or not.
You would love it. You would. You would just love it.
I don't know for sure that I would. Just because, like, you know, the F-bombs and the...
There's been swearing in Star Trek before.
Nudities.
Oh, we saw...
I don't think they've ever said the F-bomb on Star Trek before.
No, maybe in a movie, but...
No.
Maybe not. Double dumbass on you, for sure. But
what's double dumbass?
That's from
Star Trek 4, the one with the whales.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's not really a swear. Some people
because he didn't understand the context behind it, so he was just repeating it.
Yeah. But here's some Star Trek you might like. Did you know that Jean-Luc Picard is reprising his role as Picard?
Yes, we've discussed this before on a previous Rusted Robot
Sir
podcast.
Patrick Stewart?
Yes, that guy. Yeah. Yes. So Star Trek is boldly going on a new mission where only men have gone before. Hanel Culpepper will direct the first 2 episodes of the upcoming untitled Star Trek Jean-Luc Picard series, making her the first woman to direct a pilot or debut episode of a Starfleet series in the franchise's 53-year history. All 13 feature films in the Star Trek universe have also been directed by men. Culpepper has directed 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery on CBS All Access already.
That's not boding well.
Oh, come on, stop it. Quit being a negative Nelly. The as-yet untitled Star Trek series features Patrick Stewart reprising his iconic role as Jean-Luc Picard, which he played for 7 seasons on The Next Generation. Culpepper most recently directed episodes of Counterpoint, Shooter, Nosferatu. She's also worked on other shows like How to Get Away with Murder, Gotham, Criminal Minds, and American Crime.
A lot of procedurals in that list.
Yeah. And Alex Kurtzman said that Culpepper is ideal for Starfleet material. She's a gifted and dynamic filmmaker whose directorial choices are always deeply rooted in character. I've been a huge fan of her work since she started with us on Discovery, and she's the perfect person to reintroduce the beloved character of Picard to longtime fans and new viewers alike. We're thrilled she's joining our Trek family on this next adventure.
So I'll give it a look.
Yeah.
But so far we're not hearing much about it. It's still too early to know what's going on.
Oh, actually, I've got an article here, Josh. Funny that you mentioned that. We've got the character breakdowns.
Okay.
So let me just read it to you, because I could just ad-lib it, but it's better if I read it. So this report comes from That Hashtag Show, which reveals that the destruction of the Romulan Empire in the prime timeline in which the series is set will weigh heavily on Patrick Stewart's Picard. Additionally, the story will pick up 20 years after the end of The Next Generation. And in addition to Picard, the series will feature 7 characters: Connie, Lawrence, Starton, Dr. Smith, K-Bar, Indira, and Alana. Connie is described as an African-American woman in her early 30s. She lost her husband and has a death warrant on her head from her home planet. She's also a mercenary pilot. Lawrence is also in his 30s and is described as someone with a dodgy moral compass. The character who is a thief will pilot the ship Picard takes on his mission. The breakdown hints that he might not be trustworthy. Starton is identified as terrified of space and specializes in positronic brains. He's interested in the research part of Picard's mission. He is, like his 3 companions, in his early 30s. Lawrence and Starton are said to be of any ethnicity. The other 4 characters are described as follows. Dr. Smith is a hologram who helps the crew and is programmed to constantly learn but never to become too self-aware. He may be an upgrade to the series EMH. Another character is K-Bar, a 17-year-old Romulan martial artist who is extremely devoted to Picard. The final 2 characters are Indira, a smart but socially inept woman in her early 20s, and Alana, a former intelligence officer with an abusive personality in her mid-40s or 50s. Alana, Indira, and Dr. Smith are described as being of any ethnicity, while that isn't specified for K-Bar. As the series progresses, there may be more characters, more casting breakdowns. Nothing else has been confirmed. But it says they're thinking that Picard's no longer part of Starfleet because of these people.
Well, we'd have to be, because,
Sounds like a bunch of rogues.
Yeah.
And rapscallions. So what do you think? Is it looking promising? Do you think you would watch that show?
No, it's not, actually.
You don't like that description of all these random weird people? A lot of women on the cast. That's pretty cool.
That's fine.
Yeah, we don't care about that part.
No, that's more progressive. That's good.
Well, I guess, but Star Trek has always been progressive.
But there's always been more men on the cast in all the series.
Yeah, because it started in, the 60s.
Yeah, but still, even with Discovery, there's still more men on the cast.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, there is a rationale behind that. Men are more likely to volunteer for exploratory missions.
Oh!
It's true. Josh wants to go live on Mars, and I don't want to leave the Earth.
Did you hear that my hopes have been dashed? Mary Wiseman has just gotten married. She plays Tilly on Star Trek Discovery.
Oh,
she just got married this past week. I'm doomed. I can't. No.
Congratulations. You've dodged a bullet.
By not being single long enough for me to get her?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh. You hurt me real deep. You cut me.
Sean's not going to bother you at your booth.
I wasn't going to anyway.
Yes, you would.
I would. I totally would. I want my life-size Tilly action figure.
No!
But anyway, that's the Star Trek news for this week. It's very exciting. Discovery is really picking up steam. It's awesome. It's been renewed for a 3rd season actually this week too. That's the other Star Trek news that I have.
No, it's fine. People like it. Let them like it.
And we've got the cartoons coming out, the one on Nickelodeon for younger kids, and we've got the Lower Decks series. So the Picard series is going to start filming in mid-April.
So the Picard series worries me because the direction they're going. It doesn't... We'll see, but it worries me a bit. Lower Decks looks interesting.
Yeah.
Is it because you wanted him to stay the captain? Or at least, an admiral or something?
The original talks about him being a mentor figure for a crew of recruits.
That makes a lot of sense.
Would have been fantastic, but I think they're trying to let's jazz this up with a little little darkness in there, because we can't have a happy, light universe where people have good attitudes and try to work together. Because what was Gene Roddenberry's single rule about Star Trek? No conflict amongst the crew.
Yeah, but this isn't a crew anymore. This is just a bunch of random people.
Yeah.
What if part of his thing is like you know how people like rehabilitate people that are like not good people and make them nice?
Yeah.
Maybe he's doing that?
No. That's... They want conflict amongst the major characters. That's what they're doing with this. That's what they did with Discovery. Discovery violated one of the core rules of making Star Trek, which is no conflict amongst the crew.
Because part of the thing I liked about Star Trek is that everybody worked together.
Like, you may have a short conflict with each other, but that's always within the one episode, and you try to resolve that conflict.
Because, like, it is part of human nature.
That hasn't changed in Discovery.
The entire first season was based on the premise that there was entire conflict amongst the crew.
There was one little minor mutiny, really.
One minor mutiny.
And then nobody liked her because she was the one who did all this stuff and started the war.
Well, there's that. But they got over it.
And nobody likes her roommate, so they stuffed her in there.
Everything's fine now.
And the first officer pretty much hated her.
They're good now. Everybody gets along.
The captain was a psychopath.
But he wasn't part of the crew. He was just pretending to be. So they didn't violate their edict.
They violated their edict. For the entire first season that I watched, it was nothing but a violation of the edict.
You watched a third of the series.
I watched a third of the first season.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not enough. You need more.
More! I watched the first third, and for the entire first third, they broke the golden rule.
See, and it's totally okay to disagree on what you like, because it's just personal preferences.
And I like that a character in the Picard series is named K-Bar. That's just cool. I don't know why. K-Bar.
I know that.
That's yeah, exactly. It's like a combat knife or something.
Right?
It's a combat knife, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. So, moving right along, you have some comic book news that you're going to briefly tell us in the next 2 minutes.
Yes, I do. Okay, people. This is a comic that is mostly, well, I don't know if it's on purpose directed at people who either own cats or just in general cat lovers, but there's this comic. There's already one that's out called Manfred the Man. It is written by Caitlin Major. But if you've read that one, you will definitely like this new one that is coming out called Manfred Saves the Day. It is being released on May 14th, 2019. It will be available at your local comic book stores.
Where's that? Do we have one?
Yes, we do. Jump City. Jump City. Timmins, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, I should have remembered from the beginning of the episode
Yeah.
where you talked about you being an owner of that store.
Yeah, it's in the basement of the 101 Business Complex in Timmins.
Oh, yes.
But, okay, so this book series is super freaking weird. In it, people and cats have swapped places, like their roles.
Oh.
So the cats are now the large things that take care of men, and they go to work and they use computers and they cook the food and they do the shopping, and they're the ones who have like relationships and friendships outside of their home, and the men are like the cats, and they live mostly inside the house. There are strays. They just wander about naked. Instead of saying meow, they say hey. Like, there's a number of very strange things in the universe. They still do all of the same things that we accept from pet cats, but it's very odd to see to see cats accepting the behavior from their pet men.
Right.
The whole thing is very hilarious. They talk about their pet men as if they are, normal pet cats, and the whole thing is extremely bizarre. It has an extremely cute, drawing style. Everything is very, round and soft. The color palette is very pleasing. It's not overly vibrant.
And it's available at your comic book store in 2 months from now?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. The first book is hilarious and
it-
very heartwarming.
Is it a comic, or is it a graphic novel, or is it something different?
It is only a graphic novel. It actually started as a webcomic. And you can follow, they have a Facebook page, which is fun. But I'm quite quite the large fan of the first one. I picked it up at TCAF, which is Toronto Comic Arts Festival.
Yes.
I think last year, maybe the year before. I picked it up there from the actual artist.
So you met the actual artist author.
Yeah, and she signed it for me.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I have a little, there's a little doodle of Manfred's face in there.
Nice.
Manfred is the main man character.
Ah, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, well that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yes, we'll have to go to Jump City Comic Books and pick that up in 2 months when it comes out.
It's so strange. I love this book. And you don't have to have read the first one to enjoy the second one.
Oh, good. Well, that's important too, because sometimes it's hard to get everything in the series or the set.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's very weird.
Yes. All right, well I guess that's the end of our show. That was exciting, guys. Yeah, we covered a lot of information and material. We did. Yes. And as you and Stephanie reminded me last week, got to mention the Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, help us buy better equipment and recording material, or just give us some money because you love us, patreon.com/DarthVaderloo, or just therustedrobot@gmail.com to PayPal, whatever you want to do. Send us money, or not. Leave us a review in the iTunes store, or not. Anything else?
I think that's it.
That's about it, right? Okay, well, thanks for coming by, everybody, and listening to this episode of the podcast. Your support is always appreciated. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. And remember, according to astronomy, when you wish upon a star, you're actually a few million years late. That star is dead, just like your dreams. You have been listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. To contact the show, email therustedrobot@gmail.com or tweet us at therustedrobot. Join the Facebook page and group, and visit the website at therustedrobot.podbean.com. The Rusted Robot Podcast was put together by Sean and Josh and the Rusty crew. Please remember to check out our other show, the Soulforge Podcast. Visit Jump City Comics in the 101 Mall and leave a glowing review in your chosen podcast app. Thank you, and have a geeky day.
The Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
You may have heard about the flat earth theory in the last few days because of rapper B.O.B. and his beef with noted astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. B.O.B. declared to his Twitter followers that he believes the planet Earth is actually flat and that all the nations of the world have joined together in a massive conspiracy to cover up this fact. Here is how flat earthers believe the universe works. They believe the Earth is a flat disk which looks like this. The North Pole is at the center, with Antarctica forming an ice wall around the outer edges of the disk. This is why flat earthers believe the 1961 Antarctic Treaty was agreed upon by all the world's nations, so no one could reach the edge of the disk. They believe that this is the reason the UN uses this as their symbol. There is also a dome-like barrier called the firmament, which surrounds the disk. This is an impenetrable barrier that keeps the atmosphere intact. Flat earthers do not believe we have ever passed this barrier. According to flat earth theory, gravity does not exist. Instead, they believe in the universal acceleration, believing that all celestial bodies are accelerating upward at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. They also believe that Earth is not actually spinning, and provide counter evidence to disprove the rotation of the planet, such as the fact that clouds in the atmosphere are not moving at the rate of 1,000 miles per hour, the rate of the Earth's rotation. Flat earthers believe that when Copernicus theorized that the Earth moved around the sun, all of the world's religions decided to accept his theories, and rather than risk being questioned, the world's religions have a vested interest in furthering the Earth globe idea. In turn, flat earthers believe that all imagery from the space program has been faked. Some of the most common pieces of evidence are the lack of direct commercial flights between two cities within the southern hemisphere. Unfortunately, and we are talking to you, B.O.B., all of these theories don't explain why a ship disappears over the horizon, bottom first.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.